What's up, guys? This is my prediction video for UFC Fight Night Long Island, Weidman versus Gastelum. This seems like a pretty good card. I mean, a lot of people are down on this card because there aren't as many names, but there's some interesting fights, especially the main event. For this prediction video, let's just go over the main card. So we're going with Jimmy Rivera versus Thomas Almeida, which is a very important fight for the bantamweight division because Rivera is right there for the title shot. If he beats Almeida, he's right there in contention. He is a very well-rounded fighter, small for the division, very short. He has very good boxing, very good leg kicks, and his wrestling is good offensively and defensively. So he's going to have more weapons than Almeida. Although he's not much of a finisher, he doesn't gas out though, and he's able to go the whole 3 rounds very strongly. Almeida is a striker, predominantly, even though he has underrated jiu-jitsu. He always looks for the knockout, very good stand-up, but although his striking defense has some holes in it, he likes to risk it a little bit too much and he gets open too much. It was shown in the Cody Garbrandt fight and the Brad Pickett fight. Whenever he would throw strikes, he would leave himself open. That's something he has to work on against Rivera and his takedown defense. But ultimately, his strikes are very precise, and that's going to be very dangerous for Rivera. So in this fight, I'm actually going to go with Jimmy Rivera. And this is a tough fight to call because Thomas Almeida does have a very good style for Rivera, especially in the stand-up. If it stays standing, Rivera's going to have a very hard time with Almeida because he's longer, he has a lot of power, especially for the division, and he's really quick on his feet. If Rivera can get it to the ground, and if he grinds it out, he'll win this fight by a decision. So I'm going to go with Rivera. I'm going to go by a decision, although it's a pretty hard fight to call. Then we go to Patrick Cummins versus Jean Villante. This is an interesting fight. Both of them are a little bit low on the ranking system, and both of them have been very up and down in their careers as of lately. Patrick Cummins is a wrestler. He has been working on his striking, especially his defense, but he leaves openings on himself as he goes for takedowns or as he rushes his opponent, such as when you see him with the OSP fight and other fights like that. His wrestling, though, is very good, very pressuring and very powerful. It's really hard to get him off you. Once he connects with his opponent for the takedown, it's really hard to shake him off. And it's really hard to stop him from getting the takedown, especially if he gets it against the cage. But Jean Villante is a striker. He tries to knock you out with every shot. He had a pretty exciting fight with Shogun in his last fight, back and forth. So if he wants to win this fight, of course, he's going to have to keep it standing. So this is a striker versus grappler match. Villante is actually really good with his kicks, which he's going to have to be very wary about throwing. If he can land the head kick and exit or not get it caught, he has a big advantage in this fight. But the kicks might get countered in this fight. So a lot of the weapons from Villante are going to be taken away. So in this fight, I'm going to go with Patrick Cummins, and I'm going to go by a decision, due to Villante being very tough and very hard to finish. Then we go to the co-main event, Dennis Bermudez versus Darren Elkins. On paper, it doesn't look too good for Elkins. This is my most confident pick of this whole card. My pick for this fight is actually going to be Dennis Bermudez. I think he's going to put on a showing out there. Darren Elkins is very underappreciated. He's very underrated. He's not the most athletic guy. He's not the most powerful guy. He's not the fastest guy, but he is probably the toughest guy in this division, and he's really hard to put away and really hard to stop. I mean, he's going to keep going after you. If Elkins has one thing going for him in this fight, is the style of Bermudez, because Bermudez is traditionally a wrestler, and he goes to that whenever he gets in trouble. So if he gets in trouble, he's going to go for the wrestling, and that's where Elkins can get some advantages. Even though the wrestling is going to be very even, I believe, I think Elkins might have the advantage at the end because Bermudez has been focusing more on his striking. The only way I think he's going to go to his wrestling is if he gets in trouble. And if he gets in trouble and uses the wrestling, that's what Elkins is going to be waiting for. So he's going to have a plan for the wrestling, while Bermudez is going to be more focused on the striking. But in this fight, I'm going to go with Bermudez, and I'm going to go by a decision or a late knockout. Then we go to the main event, the fight everybody's been waiting for, Chris Weidman versus Kelvin Gastelum. This is actually a very interesting and a very good fight. This is almost do or die for Weidman when it comes to high-ranked opponents and getting into title contention, because he has 3 losses in a row, all TKO or knockout, which is crazy because before those 3 losses, he was the middleweight champion of the world, beat Anderson Silva twice, beat Lyoto Machida, beat Vitor Belfort, and he was undefeated, and he gets on a 3 knockout loss streak. That is kind of crazy. This is also in his hometown, I believe. Weidman is very well rounded, although his strength is his wrestling. Offensively, that is. His striking is good. He has a very long reach, 78 inches, which if he can use it right, can be a big advantage for him in this fight. Because Kelvin is one of the smaller middleweights. And Wyman has good strikes. They're not the fastest strikes. They're not the most powerful strikes. He's technically sound on the feet. And he's really good with setting his strikes up to go for takedowns. The stylistic matchup against a guy like Kelvin is actually going to be a tough fight for Wyman because Kelvin is really hard to take down. And he's extremely fast for this division. And he hits hard. His boxing technique is going to be better than Wyman's. And his in and out movement and his footwork in general is going to give Wyman a lot of problems. If Wyman cannot take Gastelum down, Wyman's going to be in huge trouble in this fight. So that takedown is going to be what Wyman's going to have to look for. He's going to have to set it up because going straight for it is not going to work against Gastelum. He will get countered and he will get caught for it. And Gastelum is a very good wrestler himself. And he's been working on his BJJ for a while now, but he hasn't really been able to show it because no one takes him down. In this fight, I have a feeling that Gastelum is going to win. And I have a feeling he's going to win pretty easily. I don't know why, but that's the feeling I'm getting from this fight. But I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm actually going to go with Kelvin by a second or third round knockout. I think the speed and the timing of Kelvin is going to give Wyman a lot of problems. I think Wyman's going to look for kicks, and I think he's going to try to fight from a long range. But I think the speed and the entry shots, especially that jab and the 1-2 combination, is going to catch Wyman more than once. And I think it's going to connect clean on him too. And I do see Wyman trying to go for takedowns. I don't see him getting them. But if he does get them, this fight can go in his favor. So that's my prediction, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe. Comment below what your guys' predictions are and why. I'm really curious to see what you guys think as well. And I will break down one of the fights this card. And next week, I'm going to break down the Jones vs. DC first fight. Make sure to watch the fights. It's going to be an excellent card. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.